Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are around the world. And welcome to today's Boundless live stream. I'm Richard Foster-Fletcher, joined by three wonderful people today. Linda Bano from Data Reply UK, Singh, also from Data Reply UK, and Ghaith Sankari, who is representing AI Hut, his new very exciting startup. Welcome, great to see everybody.
Good to see you too, Richard.
Thank
you for having us.
Hi, everyone.
So Linda, Pavi in the UK. Ghaith, you're about, what, 5 hours ahead?
3 hours ahead.
3 hours. 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
Excellent.
And in fact, it's suitable. It's better than the events with Canada or USA. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. We try and have this time of day so we can welcome some friends from the US, even potentially on the West Coast if they're early risers. And of course, our Indian friends as well, who are probably had their dinner already and now about 8:30 in the evening, depending on where they are. Our topic today is automated machine learning, or AutoML. And we're going to focus this conversation primarily on the business use and the business cases. We're going to run until about 3:30 today, so that's 29 minutes from now. We're going to be exploring questions and comments from you. So great to see people already here. Pragadish is here. Always great to see you. We can always pop people's messages up like this as well and give them a shout out on the screen, which is always fun as well. Linda, what on earth is AutoML? Let's get started. Let's light the way on.
Okay, cool. I'm ready. So, hello everyone. This is Linda Bano. I'm a data analyst for Data Reply UK. And so let's talk about AutoML. So I like to define AutoML as the process of automatizing the ML steps from data gathering to the deployment, actually, of different models. And the first time that I got in touch with this kind of topic was through some ML platforms that I really found useful for myself, because they allow people that are not really deep and they don't have really technical skills, so like me basically, to perform by themselves some machine learning steps. And I think that's it's amazing for me, at least, because I can really try, explore, experiment by myself without knocking at the door of Pavi and say, please, Pavi, can you help me to do that? So yeah, that's how I like to define AutoML. Right? You would like to add anything from your side?
Yes, in fact, you are totally correct. But this is also, there's another side effect, which is there is a new rules on the team that appeared according to that. The new rules, when we are talking about something like machine learning operation developer or machine learning developer, which is different rule from machine learning researcher, for example, because this is the people who are focusing on the engineering part of the machine learning projects. So the AutoML, in fact, the great thing about AutoML, it's opening the door to move from the research to the production and the industrial usage of the machine learning models. So that's why it's right now it's necessity. But also there is some hidden parts of AutoML. For example, when we are talking about automating the steps, one of the steps is finding the suitable model, or suggesting or generating or creating the suitable models. In this point, the tools that will be used, it will be very excited when you are talking about algorithm, for example, just like the genetic algorithm or reinforcement learning, that working to generate a new model. Here, it will be very hot topic and very nice topic to talk about and to work on it. And this is why I'm very interested in this AutoML, and I'm also excited to do something related to that. That's what I'm trying to do here.
And Pavi, who are the main players, technology speaking, that supports the use of AutoML?
Most of the sort of cloud enterprises today, like AWS, GCP, or even Azure, are trying to obviously implement these automated machine learning technologies and tools, because obviously, ultimately what Ghaith said, it comes down to these experimentation and monitoring of these machine learning algorithms that are implemented, but ultimately for the benefit of the businesses, it's up to the deployment and a proper sort of monitoring and usage of how it goes down to. And that is what adds business value to a machine learning problem, and how it sort of helps the business in taking things forward and producing a meaningful output. That is how most of the organizations sort of indulge into. Things like Data Eco, which is a data science studio platform, even they are sort of trying to implement this automated machine learning sort of techniques, which obviously helps people who do not necessarily have, say, a domain knowledge per se, and obviously can go hands-on into developing something, trying to get kickstarted with what this data science and machine learning domain has to offer. So yeah.
Yeah, and following what you're saying, Pavi, I don't know, guys, how much are you familiar with the concept of citizen data scientist? It's a term coined by Gartner in 2016, and I don't remember the definition by heart, but basically is someone that can perform, model, implement analytics by him or herself, but with a primary job function that is outside this field. And this is, I think, one of the key amazing point that this platform have, because really are trying to democratize the data science capabilities and outcomes, I would say.
Linda, give us a breakdown, because the plan around AI for a small company, a mid-size and an enterprise are going to be very, very different, aren't they? So where do these tools fit across those three tiers of size of business?
That's a good point. What exactly do you mean as different tiers? I'm not sure that I got your point.
Sure, Ray, let me open this up as well to the room as well. So AutoML, is this when you're lacking in data science resource in a company? Is this small to mid-sized companies that are really harnessing automated machine learning, or is the enterprise using this as well?
I think that is a great tool for big enterprises, as well as for small ones. For big enterprises, I can say that they are amazing tools for the visibility that they provide on the project itself. So I'm thinking about one of the software that I'm using, that is DataIQ, that is providing a really visual flow of the process that is related about every task that is happening on one project. And this is really important, above all for big organizations, because sometimes, above all for these such big ones, it happens that the details are lost somewhere. So it's really important that they can have everything under control. And one of the key features of these ML platforms, automated ML platform, also is providing them this kind of this benefit. So yeah. And usually I will say that the small organization maybe start technicals, so maybe they don't necessarily have and need this kind of tools, while I will definitely suggest this kind of tools for the big ones, because in this way they can even try to have the team all together in one room, basically in one process.
Can I add things, Richard? Maybe here it's very important. When we are talking about the business, either we are talking about the enterprise or the small startup, in both sides, the AutoML it will be useful. I will give you one scenario, very small scenario. If I want to test for one task or one use case, which model it will be held better for me, without going to the end. Maybe I need only a prototype or something. AutoML it will help me to, let's say, test multiple trainers or multiple algorithms to find which one it's promising. It's more promising. Yeah. It's not final decision, but which one I can start to focus on. This is, as a small company, I have to do that. And as an enterprise company, I need industrial usage. I need all continuous updating for my model when it has to be updated. So in both cases, it will be okay. And just move back to the cars industry. For example, are you imagine that there is a Ford, for example, without automated processes? Well, it's not happening. So when you are going to the business, you have to have automating the steps that you are moving on. So I think it's important for both.
Yeah.
And go on, please.
Yeah. I was just saying that I obviously somewhere stand in the middle of what Linda and Ghaith said. Obviously, it's ultimately up to the business, big or small, if they want to sort of implement these automated machine learning techniques and tools, but it's deemed highly important. So just to give a brief example, in terms of, say, a really small company which doesn't really have resources that you were mentioning about, Richard, earlier, and if they want to sort of carry out certain experiments, tons of experiments just to analyze what would work and what wouldn't, and if their resources are sort of limited, AutoML would come in handy with that aspect. While in terms of big enterprises which have got different people and resources which do specific things, like they've got a data engineer, they've got a data scientist, they've got a machine learning engineer, they've got a DevOps engineer, even then, to sort of utilize this automated machine learning pipeline and how that can add value to the business.
Yes. Ghaith, let's pop this question up, because I was going to ask about some of the use cases, because they are fairly limited, aren't they, still, with AutoML? Maybe you'd use it for classification tasks or even time-based classification tasks. So Pragadish says, would AutoML be helpful for vision-based machine learning? What's your experiences with that?
Now, vision-based, I think I have to be more, it has to be more clear about the vision-based. When you are talking about, let's say, computer vision, for example, and their application starting, for example, in the healthcare classification methods for or the prediction of some diseases, yes, it will be helpful to do that, because, and we have, I think by today we will check this on the forum, that we have some use cases using the AutoML just to find the suitable structure for medical imaging segmentation. So this is one example. The other example, if you have sentimental analysis needed, and then you are able to, you have the data, and after cleansing, you are able to use some automated machine learning techniques or platforms just to find which algorithm is more helpful. Because I'm focusing a lot on the healthcare, maybe, yes, most of the use cases I will give it from the healthcare sector. But I want to ask the guys with us, because maybe they are more familiar with me with data. I couldn't imagine if there is automated method for data cleansing. Do we have something similar to that? Is this something possible even?
Great questions. Pragadish, be great to get you to respond to that on the chat here. Let's pop this one up. As we know, the LinkedIn API doesn't always allow us to see who's asking. So thank you for your kind comment there. Linda, this one's back to you though, isn't it? This is why you're here today, the benefits that AutoML, and Ghaith, you touched on some use cases as well. So let's jump into those. Who's using this? What are they achieving? And what's the difference? Is it cost? Is it time? Compared to what you might call standard data science practices? Okay,
yeah, sure. So benefits. I personally see two main benefits in using these kind of platforms. The first one is that, as I said, they really allow people, so business analysts that are in the middle, to try and test by themselves what they collect, because usually the process of the solution is sequential, and it starts from business people that talk with business people that collect requirements, and then they try to translate these requirements in technical requirements for the data science team. But there is a gap here. And with these kind of platforms, people can try and test by themselves, following their intuition, the first ideas that they have. And this is, I think, deeply important to shape at the beginning a right direction for the solution. So this is the first benefit that I can see. And another one, it's a visibility. It's a visibility that this kind of platform gives. We were talking earlier about different people working together in the same environment, in the same collaborative environment. I don't know if it never happened to you, but I'm usually working with different people in different projects. And the day before the delivery, there is always a bug. There is always a problem. So you just ask and call your technical guy, and this guy in 5 minutes, in the snap of fingers, and you can hear that. You can hear him because he's quickly typing on the on the keyboard. He can solve your problem. And these guys are genius. I love these guys because for me they are genius, but we really can't see anything about what they are doing. And this is really a lack of visibility in the overall process that is a problem for the overall scalability of the project itself. So I really like these tools because they can provide all the users involved a visibility of what is happening. And it can allow for these improvements, not just for the project itself, but even for the organization in the future for other projects. So that's the reason why I really like these platforms that I'm currently using.
Fantastic. And you brought up visibility is there as
Yeah.
well. We'll come back to that. We're answering Sam's question here. Sam's put his name up, Sam P, to let us know that he is the anonymous LinkedIn user. So thanks. We're discussing your comment. Ghaith, you were going to share some more examples from health and wellness and medical. Do you want to give us a couple of those use cases?
No, I will tell you. I have one comment. It's about let's say, the software development lifecycle, which is maybe the biological father of the machine learning project. It has its own synergy between different parts and rules, and they are all together work to make this happen. So part of this, when we are talking about a machine learning project, it's the services or the APIs that support the machine learning models, which is already there. And this one, it has to be served with the full of tools for scaling, for retesting, for deploying, and for publishing when it's need to be published, to be integrated also with other systems. All of this can be done using the automated machine learning. When we are talking about more example about the healthcare, one example, this is, I cannot remove it from my mind, which is what's happened in our company for COVID prediction using X-ray. This is what we tried the AutoML for it to find which is the best architects that we are going to use, and then by the AutoML, it's nominate to us the best architect, and we continue from there just to modify the process and how to do the data cleansing and how to just let's say the imbalance data to fix these errors and follow the process or follow the algorithm or the architect suggested by the automated machine learning, and then we find good results. And this results reflecting in our project in our company. It's reflecting on also some other projects. I already mentioned this on LinkedIn. We have some students, they are doing the same and they got great results. I think it's when we are talking about 97% accuracy for predicting from X-ray. I think this is great result, for example. Yeah. So for sure, there is some challenges here, but this is right now what is the hot topic that everybody is trying to work on it. We're working on CT scan or X-ray. Yes, we use automated machine learning to find which architects will help us better.
Yeah, Pavi, I mean, you can just leap that accuracy up, can't you, from 60, 70% up into the 90% with AutoML. Is that the main reason people are jumping into this? Or is it flavors of what Linda was talking about in terms of visibility? Or maybe something else like the time spent?
It's a bit of both, I reckon, because obviously, like with what Ghaith was mentioning in terms of things like data cleansing and how they can be sort of automated. We've got different data science studios that you can perform data prep and all those sort of things by just using drag and drop instead of writing Python code and doing your aggregations and things of that sort. While suppose for instance, services like the AWS forecast or AWS recognition, which Amazon has sort of implemented with a view of automating what a usual life cycle of, say, a computer vision sort of project would be. You get your data set, you sort of analyze what it's all about. You suppose you have to identify how many people are there in the frame. You sort of train your model with the data set that you've got, and you sort of predict whatever you need. But this obviously has been sort of crammed into one service, which is just recognition. You just feed in your data and it tells you whatever you need, be it as simple as identifying people in the frame, how their sentiment is everyone smiling, is everyone happy, things of that sort, do they wear specs or not, and countless other use cases and things of that sort. Similarly, in the lines of, say, AWS forecast, time series forecasting, which is obviously a very big sort of yes in terms of the retail domain, and how the businesses want to forecast sales, want to forecast traffic, want to forecast what the demand is, and things of that sort. Like traditionally, obviously, what data scientists prefer is to have the data in place, analyze it, because obviously things like these can't really be automated traditionally. But if we obviously move in that direction, use these services that obviously these cloud platforms have to offer, things can be moved in the right direction and can be obviously streamlined to a better sort of process, if I may say so. And yeah, that's where sort of I stand somewhere. Again, like it's a bit of both. Obviously, visibility is a big yes in terms of these processes and tools. But apart from that, how they add value to what the teams are doing, how you can sort of take down some pressure on how the teams are performing and things of that sort. How can the teams benefit by utilizing these tools is something to sort of look upon when using automated machine learning, is what I think. Don't know if you guys agree with that or not.
So, Linda, you said about democratizing machine learning. Now, this phrase does come up in various different places, doesn't it? From various different tools on the market. Is this the main area? Is this the way of the future in terms of more access from more people to work on more models? Is that going to increase the fairness, maybe reduce some of the bias that we see in projects, do you think?
So I like this concept of democratizing, and really it's not in a negative meaning, but it's a buzzword now because you can hear that everywhere. But on the other side, I would like to say that from my point of view, democratizing doesn't mean that this kind of platforms will give access and they will perform well with everyone. Because I think that an analytical background is still needed to perform well, because otherwise you can even apply a classification model, but if you can't explain at all what it means, I don't think that is the correct way to try to explain or predict a problem or any data. So I mean, and I'm saying that because luckily I've analytical background, but I have to say that I don't have developing skills, but I probably I will not be so comfortable using these tools without a little bit knowing what they are saying to me, because they are not translators. You know, it's not just you put some data as input and they give as output the direct explanation of your phenomenon. You have still to try and to understand what the results mean for you and for the problem you're trying to solve. So there is not magic. You have to try to understand what these results mean.
And Ghaith, give us a bit more of the history, and then we'll perhaps look at the future of this. It's not magic, so.
In fact, I don't believe in magic. That's so I agree. I agree with Linda. What we have to think about. If we are talking about the machine learning as black box, we are unable to use a black box to give us another result without any kind of explainability, and then we don't have any business analyst or somebody from the business point of view to tell us why we got this result. At the end, we will end up with some result just like the green eye will be COVID, for example. So this is, yes, I agree with Linda about that. Now let's go back to the history. When we are talking about the history, the automated machine learning, I was able to track some trails for this starting from 1994. Maybe there is also trails before that, but this is what I was able to track. Now, what is the automated machine learning is focusing on automating the steps just to make it more industrial, and also to give the help for the business analyst to try some models by himself. So if he is able to find the match between the expected result and the result from the model, then he will be encouraged to go on the, let's say, development cycle and start working on it. For example, this is one of the benefits. The other benefit, as I told you, it is the ability to find a new structure, which is something wasn't used before. But this one right now, let's say it started on the world, but I found that they are focusing on a specific problem. That means they will take some task or some use case. They already have some solution for it, which is also good solution. And they are trying to make kind of automated process just to find another, for example, neural network to find this the same solution, to do the same work, but in better way. Now this one, which is as I told you, it's the hot topic right now. For me, it's the hot topic, because yes, I found there is some challenges here. It's about the evaluation. Each time you find a new structure, you have to run the training for it and then re-evaluate it and find what is which process is better. And also there is some bias from the data set, and you have to consider this. So there is a lot of challenges here. But somehow this is now the magic. If we are able to find a way to have immediate evaluation for the new generated graph or a neural network, immediate, without training and evaluation, yes, we have a magic at that time. Now, how to do that, I don't know. I'm just thinking about it.
But it is a phenomenal change. It's a step change, even if we don't call it magic. We're going to stop in just 3 minutes, because we promised we'd keep to a half-an-hour time slot today. So who can take this question from Niraj, who's a regular contributor to our community? So Niraj, great to see you as always. And great question. User acceptance of AutoML. I guess you can interpret this question a few different ways, but he's gone for explainability. Can we trust the output? Are we really sure of some of the steps that it's taken if we weren't really witnessing and involved in those? Who's the best person to answer that question?
I think Pavi.
Yeah, I can take that. No worries. In terms of it solely depends on what sort of algorithms you're trying to implement using this automated pipeline. If it's obviously limited to something which, say, is something like regression or classification, and it does not involve the domain of what everyone calls deep learning, it's easily explainable and the acceptance is quite a lot. But when you go down into sort of complex architectures of, in lines of what Ghaith was mentioning, neural networks, if it's convolutional neural networks and you are involved with things like, say, forecasting using LSTMs, which is a short form of long short-term memories. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that, but things like those, and if they are sort of implemented in this sort of automated way, it's hard to sort of explain, because one, even those algorithms are sort of a black box, and how it sort of produces results, it's hard to justify, even standalone. That coupled with obviously the automated pipeline could be a hard thing to sort of explain and achieve. So I agree to what everyone in the forum has been saying, that explainability and interpretability is a must. But from what my experience has been so far in terms of using the enterprises or data science studios and things of that sort, it's usually it comes down to what sort of algorithms are implemented and how would that be obviously accepted by, say, the business, the client, or whatever.
We've got about 30 seconds to go. Great answer. Future of AutoML? What does the next couple of years look like? Ghaith, is that one for you, or Pavi, you want to carry on?
Ghaith, if you want.
No, in the future, I think yes, we have. It will be a must for all the companies that to use AutoML in different steps, so according to the tools. So it's a must. So we have to focus on it to understand what we are going to do with it.
Wonderful. Linda, should I give you the last word to take us home?
100% agree. It's a must, and we should get used to that because it's going to be the future for everyone.
Wonderful.
And thank you, Richard, for hosting us, by the way. I didn't say it yet, so.
Oh, Linda, that's very kind of you. It's my absolute pleasure. So, Linda, thank you. Pavi, and your wonderful business data reply that works with MKAI, which we're doing our technical session starting in 1 hour from now, and our expert forum tomorrow. So, big week for us. So, thank you both. And Race, thank you for being here. We've been doing different LinkedIn Lives, and now we're on the same one. It's wonderful.
Sweet. Thank you again, both.
All right. See you all soon, folks.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.